And I can see someone is here. It might be our next presenter. Dun, 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 dun.
Hiya. Hi guys.
Hi, David.
I love that. That was all about branding. That's my thing. So really good. I saw Renee hit all the main things, especially for beginners learning or creating their own sites or courses. You know, this whole thing about keeping things simple, like 4 or 5 colors to start with, and then build from there. And, you know, be bold, and those messages should come across, and whatever colors you're using or whatever typefaces you're using, you know, it's a case of trying to get your personality injected into it. So I absolutely love that. It was really good. I only caught the last half, but I'll watch it all later.
Yeah, good to have you back in A Day with Zenler, David. How exciting!
Super excited. Got a good one today, so it's going to be nice.
Amazing. Okay.
Right, shall I kick it off?
Take it away. Yes. Over
Excellent.
to the amazing David.
Thanks guys. Thanks Liz. Thanks Mammy. Okay, so what have we got for you today? I haven't been online for quite a while. You know, I've been doing lots of things in the back end for support documents and stuff, all for you. But I grabbed this chance because I knew today was going to be a lot about all of the design. There was going to be lots of design, branding, and kind of what I'm doing today is I'm extending basically on what Renee was talking about, which is like when you've created your site, when you've got all your colors and your simple branding sheets. You know, remember guys, this doesn't have to be scary for you. You can look at what your competition are doing. You know, you don't want to do exactly the same, and you want to then use that as a base to build upon, so that you can come up with an identity that is yours. And as Renee said as well, and this is really important, it should be something that you're proud of. So you look at it and you're like, wow, this is my site. This really encapsulates me. And I think that's the whole point of branding companies. Same as Renee, you know, I will look at people's personality and try and get that injection into it as well. But you can do this stuff yourself. You know, you don't need, you can get a design, you can get a logo and those sort of things professionally designed. But if you've already scoped out the color palette and your kind of general feel, and you know, Zenler's so good for that, because you can use it to just play around with different page elements and go, well, you know what, I like that color, I like this color. Okay, I'm now going to get a designer to put a logo together for me. You can contact them and say, look at my site, this is the general feel, and then I have a really good idea to be able to create something for you, and you'll probably get it in the first 2 or 3 revisions. If you don't give them anything, could take up to 20 revisions before they get there, and of course that can cost you more money. And we're all about time saving money today, so time saving tips to save you a lot of money. So with that in mind, I'm going to do something a little bit different now. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, but only a little bit, because you guys that know me know what I've kind of done, but I just wanted to share with you just so that you know where I'm coming from on my kind of level. So let me just share a slide and quickly just show you a little bit about me before we jump into save time, save money, reuse your content. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, so my name is David, and you know me as David Zenler probably. And Zenler's not my second name. My second name is Newton. So I just used that tag when I first came in on the site, when I started working for Zenler, and it kind of caught, so people kind of know me as David Zenler. So it's just quite funny. So anyway, I've kept it because I think it's pretty cool, because I love Zenler. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is my experience. So I've been working professionally in the creative design business for over 3 decades, and I've basically covered across all sectors. So that can be marketing, branding, pretty much everything, prototyping, concept, illustration, you name it, I've done it over 3 decades. Within that time as well, I started doing online courses. Initially, I was doing them because I wanted to help people. At the time, back many years ago, there wasn't a lot of books. Well, there was books. There was no online content really whatsoever on the subjects of design and specifically into 3D animation and visual effects work. So I started to do free videos upon YouTube, not to monetize, but just to help people out. And from there, I got a big following from my videos, and I basically then was teaching actually in person at different private schools to help educate people on design and different software packages. And then I came back and decided I wanted to monetize it. I've considered myself an entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid. I've been doing all sorts of my own businesses. So this was a very natural progression for me to monetize what I was doing and actually make money from it, which I do across quite a few different course platforms, one of them being Zenler, of course, as you know me for. So I have over 1 million views, consumed videos on my YouTube channel. As you guys know, I'm very much into YouTube, and I have over 60, it's probably more like 70 or 80 now, students through my revenue streams as well. So that's a little bit about me, just to sort of tell you where I'm coming from so that you can see I'm just validating to you my experience in this area, but a lot of you already know that stuff about me anyway. So that is me. That is all what I'm about. So I'm going to show you today how you can reuse content. So there's a lot of ways of working with this. One of the ways that I like to do it now is, I used to do it in the good old days. I used to do it in Illustrator, I used to do it in Photoshop, and I used to do mock-up flat designs. But because Zenler is so good at basically being able to throw things together and actually see it resize responsively, I now use that as my main building block. I was using WordPress, and I was using lots of frameworks like Gantry and Skeleton and oh god, there were so many. There's another one as well, but I can't remember the name of it now. There's so many I've used, and they're basically drag and drop builders, so you could drag and drop them inside of Page Builder, inside of WordPress, and you could form your pages. But Zenler is so much quicker, and I would say, look, just right, okay, so even if I wasn't doing courses, if I knew about Zenler and I knew the capability of being able to drop and move stuff around so quickly within a platform, I would have paid just to be on the site to use it as a tool for page design. Because it's so cheap when you compare it to other platforms that are doing this, and the managing and just the ease of use. So that is one thing to think about. And I think a lot of users on the platform are maybe not doing courses, maybe they're just using it to create their website, because it's great for that as well. It's also great because you can put the blogs in there, you can run lives in there, and all these other aspects of Zenler. So this is what I love about it. It's such a versatile platform. And I don't think it's something that comes up very often, that people just use it as a flat page designer, but it's really powerful and it's really quick to work with. I'm sure if Renee was here, she would agree as well that it's a really quick system to work with. So with that in mind, I sort of flip it. I do sometimes if I'm doing retouching and things like digital work, and then I have to use, I have to use different software packages. But if I'm doing flat design, especially if it's for things like websites and stuff, then I can just put the frameworks together quite quickly inside of Zenler, and then I can reverse engineer it into other platforms like WordPress, Drupal, or whatever, or Joomla. So this is what I do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a page that's been built, and then we're going to look at the assets behind it, because there's certain things. So this page I'm about to show you could well be a sales page. Now, guys, don't try and say, can I pay for this? Because this is a demo, just showing you, right? It doesn't really go anywhere. So I'm going to show you the page now and have a look at what we've got. And here we go. So what I've got here is I've basically got a page that you're seeing that I'm going to show you, so that we're going to use to reuse the content and how it kind of was put together. So the first thing is I've put a page together. I've got save time, save money, reuse your content, and then a little bit of text. And then I want in, this would go through to a sales page, obviously. Got a little bit of an animated arrow going on there to lead you down into the page, obviously me on the corner. And you can see here your questions. So how can I? And then it's well, easy, but plan. And then I've got the points. So these are the points that I want to cover in this presentation. So always oversize your media. So if you're ever working, if you've got images that you're working with, initially everything should be oversized. So many times, this is a real big bugbear for me, is and I understand it completely, is people take really small images and then they blow them up on the screen, and in Zenler you can do that. You can drag things and make it bigger, and what happens with that is it gets really pixelated, basically because you're taking dots, and there's only one dot and you're trying to spread it across 4 dots, so it's going to be blurry. It's not going to be good. It's pixelated. So you want to make sure that all your assets that you're creating are pin sharp. You can always smooth the skin down on all these things using other programs, but you want to make sure this stuff is sharp. So oversize and then bring it down, resizing. So this requires a little bit of thought on what you're doing. And comes back to play around in Zenler, play with different things and see how they look. But remember that you're always going to have a bigger asset. Now, why would you have a bigger asset anyway? You might be like, well, I don't need it. I'm only using it for web. I only need it like 500 pixels high. And we're talking about pixels. Whenever we talk about anything on screen or website, we're talking about pixels. Okay. So this is the little dots. If you get a little magnifying glass and put it next to your screen, you're going to see these little dots, and these are the pixels. So this is what we're talking about. So when you say pixels, we say that's the height of images on screen, normally on online media. Okay, not print, online media. So if we have them bigger, it means that later on, if we decide, okay, do you know what, I want to do an advert, or I want to produce a banner, or I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this to an exhibition, it's not a problem if it's oversized. But if you've got all your assets created at a very small size, then you are literally going to have to reshoot everything, because it's not going to be big enough, because it's going to be blurry and pixelated when it's blown up and put onto exhibition stands and these sort of things. So try to go big, because you can always go down, but you can't go big. Okay. So be wary of that. So always have a structure. So if you're coming up with an idea, you can just jot down your idea. You might have other websites you've looked at and go, I want to follow that kind of format. So it's having some sort of structure in place, and structure in place with folder and file structures as to where your media is. Everything should be easily accessible. And I'm going to show you some references with stuff that we do from Zenler and what I did to put this together, which should give you an idea. This is very simple what I'm showing you today, but obviously with Zenler stuff, we've got hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of assets. And if it's not structured well, there's no way that I'm going to find where that stuff is. So it has to have some sort of structure to make sure that you can find all your assets. So again, this is a bugbear. People that have that, right, guys, if you're on here, if you're watching and you're one of these, just put, yes, I'm one of these, right? Okay. Are you one of those people that on your desktop have millions of items just screwing across the desktop, just like, oh, download that on the desktop, download that. So many people do that. The problem is that it's really hard to find media. Yeah, you can use the search functionality, but there's another reason why it's bad. Because when stuff is scattered across your desktop and it's not indexed or not properly in folders, the computer will take longer to search and index those things. So you're actually not helping the computer by having it on there. If you've got another external drive and you've got it in there and you've got a nice folder structure, you can put it on the external drive and it takes no memory up on the computer. Thus, it makes your computer faster. All right. So these are big things that you should think about. So have media easily available and build on it, which comes back to structure, and you should be able to find that media quickly and be able to put it into place. When I'm working on a project, I do have all my media on my desktop in a folder, and I can drag and drop stuff around very quickly. So the other thing is get creative and have fun with it. You know, you don't have to stick with one idea. You can play around with different blocks. Zenler makes it very easy to duplicate blocks out and try new colors. I'm now in the page for it. And if I duplicate this block out, I can play around with different colors and see how they look very quickly inside the platform. So if I was to go to this blue color, you know, I'm getting an idea straight away by changing these colors around what this is going to look like in these colors. And it makes it very quick, and I can have a lot of fun with it. And I can even change the background color as well if I wanted to. You know, I could go in here and decide, okay, I want to try it with an overlay color just to see what it looks like in a kind of offset blue, and then bring that down. You notice the difference between these two now is massively different. And that was done in a few seconds. And this is what I was saying to you. This is what's so good about Zenler, this ability to be able to change things really quickly and have a completely different look and feel. Of course, you can save these blocks out. So if you want to save these blocks out to reuse them in other parts of the site, you can always do that. If you're on the premium, of course, you can save blocks. If not, you can still do it. You just have to copy the code and drop it into a box. And that's how it works. So have fun with it, play around with it, get creative with it, have fun. And I say this, you know, this is so important to me personally. Whenever I am working, whenever I've worked in general, I've never been in a job. I have been in a job. I was in a job that I really didn't like. It was for a big branding company that was it was for the beverage industry, working for all of the big drink brands, and it was like a factory. Now I didn't like it. I did it for a year, and then I was like, do you know what? I don't like this, and I just got out. I always do things I like. So have fun with what you're doing. I think that because you guys are creating sites and courses, it's obviously a subject you like. You know, you might have your day job and you might be bored in your day job and you want to turn this into a revenue stream and you want to build it up, and then you want to make that transition across to fully be just doing your own work. And I think that's a normal thing. That's how people want to work, and that's how I did it. I was still working for companies, and I had the YouTube, and then I went contract, and I was doing the actually physically helping people, training people, and then I decided to monetize it, and then it was a break from contract work. Although I do take contract works on, you know, I still have that flexibility of saying no to a job, and that's what you want to do. It puts you back into control of your life. So the other thing is make sure it's a clear image. So look, the first line, but these are catchy lines. So it's just like Renee was saying, I've got my accent color, which is this kind of offset pink, and then I've got a white for my main color, and it's always on a darkish background so it stands out. But I've got that accent color, I've got that white in there. These are the colors that I'm using for this, and I'm not using any other. So I've got 4 or 5 colors in there, and I don't need to use any more. But I can pick from the whole palette of the background, and I can put that into here and create a site from this. And that was just from an image, a retouched image. So make sure it's a clear message, save time, save money, reuse your content. People know exactly what they're getting. So they're going to save time, they're going to save money, and they can reuse their content. So that's how they're going to save time and money. So it says it straight away. Don't talk about a lot of different things before it. Do not put body text down there. Get the message out crystal clear. Within 2 seconds, they should know what it's all about. If you're reading something, if you look at something and go, I don't understand what this is about, after reading it for 5 to 8 seconds, you've lost that sale. It's so critical to make sure your message is catchy, impactful, and clear. Don't go for impactful if it's not a clear message. Clear message rules is king over impact. Okay, it's more important to have the message of what it's about than the impact. If you can combine the two, as we have here, save time, save money, reuse your content, then that's great. But always make sure the message is clear. So don't stick to one piece of software. So some people, you might stick to one piece of software to start off with. We're going to look at Canva today because it's nice and easy. I'm using the free plan. So everything that's been done here has been done on the free plan. So, and it's good to use, but professionally, as you build, you will be using other pieces of software. So you might be using Descript, you might be using Camtasia for some of your media, for your video editing. You might be using Canva, you might be using Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Nuke, I don't know, Final Cut Pro. You could be using a ton of different software, but it doesn't have to be at the beginning. At the beginning, again, just like your branding and your identity, keeping things simple is so important. So you want to be sticking to something you're comfortable with. So get to know Canva. It's a very simple piece of a platform to use. And we've done training on this as well, but it is very nice and simple to use. You can do a lot of things with it. If you upgrade Canva, by the way, I don't work for Canva, but if you upgrade in Canva, then you do get extra features. So you get like background removals and things like that, which are really cool. So, and you can do a bit of video editing. I don't really use Canva for video editing. I think it's really, really not very good. But for actually graphics and all these sort of things can be good. And for little animation sequences, it can be quite good as well. So, but don't stick to it. Don't think that's all you're ever going to be using, because I promise you that you will find new tools. Like in the community, you ask people what they're using, they'll tell you a ton of different tools, and you'll be trying them out and seeing what works for you. So the other thing is that we are reusing content, and we are thinking about at this stage, especially if I've designed this page, that I'm going to be marketing this, and I'm going to be marketing it. So I need to make sure that I am remembering the social specs. So what size things are used at on things like Twitter, Instagram, and all of these, because I'm going to be creating my media to do that. So as I mentioned, Canva is a great fee tool. It's a great free tool. You need to make sure that you do your research on what other people are doing as well. You can Google. I know a question came in about how do I know what my site, how should I design my site? What should it look like? Look at your competitors, see what they're doing. You'll get ideas out of it. So if you can get ideas from them, don't follow exactly what they're doing. I've had that so many times where clients have asked me, like, this site here, I want exactly the same. And I'm like, no, that's not good. No, we can look at the best of what they're doing and we can make it better, but we're not going to copy someone else's. That's bad. So do your research, follow the style, the kind of feel, if you like it, but it should convey you. So set a time frames and schedules. So like anything you're doing, you should be setting sort of time frames when you want things to be done. It's good to push yourself, even if you haven't got to hit any schedule or these sort of things. It's really important that you kind of say, right, okay, by the end of the month, I want to get this page done. I want to start selling this course that I've got here, and I want to have created the media so I can start posting it all at the end of the month. So you can put an approximate date down, and you can just make sure that you're not passing it too much. And I would say sessions like the Zen Zone sessions that Liz, Mammy and Alice do are really good for that, because they tie you to a time to get work done. And sometimes we need that. Plus, inside of those sessions, you get support and help as well. Okay, if you want to talk to other people about different sites and different ideas, you've also got the networking as well. You've got Zen Chat with Kevin, and these are really good places to go and just get these ideas. So you don't need to be on your own. Of course, you have the Facebook group as well. So run the campaign fully. Now, I know we're not talking about marketing today, but this kind of rolls into what we're doing. And I told you there's some extra features coming in this hour, and it is run the campaign fully. So how many times I've done this, and I still do this, because the problem with me is that when I finish a project, I'm excited about something else. So I'm kind of, oh, well, I don't care now. I'm just going to get on and I'm going to start the next project. And what happens there is I haven't fully marketed the product that I've already got. So I'm not going to make the maximum revenue from that product. And I'm sure a lot of you have done the same thing. You're like so busy trying to get courses out that you don't market. Now, the number one thing is bring one course out, market it fully, repeat that marketing campaign before you move on to the next, and refine that marketing campaign. Look at the data that's coming in, how many views on the different types of advert that you've produced. You know, what are the views coming in at? Is there a lot of people joining this course? You know, ask the users, what do you want to see next? What would you like to see next? So you're getting all this market research for free from that first course or membership, which means you're in a really good position to roll into the next one. And it might be different from what you had in your mind. Like, I'll give you an example. I like doing like 3D models of like trolls, dragons, fish, you know, all these kind of things. And I decided to do a bit of jewelry for myself, and I did it in ZBrush. And then I thought, you know what, I'll turn it into a course. I put it on one of my Udemy channels, and I got massive hits on it. I got lots of sales through it. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know this. So then I started to create a much bigger, in fact, it's the biggest ZBrush jewelry course on the internet, still is, because it's insane. You know, guys, you know what I'm like. So I was like, there's I don't know, there's over 500 videos in there. It's ridiculously large for the price that it is. There's about 20 projects in there, full projects of rings, earrings, jewelry setting. All this was worked on, and I then contacted and got in touch with the people that were saying, we'd like you to do more on ZBrush. These were people that had bought the course from Udemy. They all came across to me, to my Facebook group, and I then quizzed them. I was asking them, I was getting them to do videos on how they were producing jewelry. I was asking them terminology. I've now become a little bit of an expert in jewelry design from these guys. Like, what do you need to do? Why are you not going with Rhino, which is like the industry standard for doing, it's like a CAD program? Why aren't you using that? Why are you thinking about ZBrush? So I was getting really into their mindset of why they needed to do it. And it all revolved around organic design. It's like in ZBrush, it's very organic. It's very sculptural. You can use a touch screen, as I've got. You can use a pen, and you can just draw on the screen and start sculpting. So that's what they wanted. They didn't want to be restricted by precision of a CAD program, which is what Rhino was giving them. So that's why they came across. So then I was like, oh, okay, but I wonder if I can do all of the things that Rhino does, CAD, that's very precise inside ZBrush. So I started to explore that route as well, and that's why the course grew into a little bit of a monster, you know. So these things come out of other things as you're working. So run your campaign fully and understand it all. So, guys, any questions? I have got the Facebook group open, so if there's any questions come in there, you just fire them at me. I will get to them. I'm sure Liz and Mammy will monitor in any case. So what I want to do now is I want to show you the assets that are put together for this, and show you how it was all done. Let me just save that off. Okay, right. Let's share the screen. Okay, so this is the page. You can see down here, it's just a simple page. Could be a sales page, you know, nice and simple, to the point. And these are my assets. So my assets are this background image, which was pulled off of Pixabay. And then I just added a little bit of different colors in Photoshop just to change it a little bit. I took a photograph in here, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, because it's all about reusing content. This is directly in the system itself, Zenler. It's live text, as is all of this. And this button is also created in Zenler. So I took snaps out of this as well, and I'm going to show you the content that we have here, and I'm going to show you how I kind of do this stuff. So inside here, we have a screenshot. This is just a simple screenshot of it's got a bit mad of the page there, but I've got what's called resize, and then I've got inside here I have the originals. So we're going to do something with the Zenler logo a bit later. I'm going to create a zoom background, but we have my little images here. So if I mouse over this image, it's a PNG file, so it's cut out, it's transparent. So this was the original, and you know, you can use Canva to remove this green background, and there I am. And now this is me cut out. So I've cut the green background. So this white area is transparent, and that's why I'm able to put it on here like this. Yeah, but I don't want to do it at this size. If we mouse over this image here, you're going to see that this image is 1697 by 3912 pixels. It's huge. Okay. And I don't want to be uploading that image. It's 6.15 megabytes. It's huge. So I wouldn't put that up. And this is a big problem people have. So, you know, I did say that we're going to cover a lot of stuff here. If you start uploading like even 3 or 4 of these images at this size into Zenler, and then you start grabbing the little corners and dragging it down so it's the right size, it doesn't matter. That's not going to resize it. That's going to put it in at that size. That means your page load time will be over 20 megabytes. If you resize them, you will have something that is the right size, and these are the resized ones. And you'll see here that if I mouse over this, it's 205 kilobytes. It's fraction of the size, and it's at 800 high, which is the size that I've got it in there. So you'll also notice that I've done a half height one as well, in case I wanted to use half of me instead of the whole of me. So I've cut and snipped everything out. You'll also see that I have a background here, and this is the famous size that I always tell you. What is it? 1920 by 1080. It's HD. It's a golden ratio. It's a perfect ratio of fitting into a 16 by 9 monitor. So 9 by 60. So it fits in a monitor. Lovely. Okay. So that's the size that I always use for my background images. I also have a button there. So I have that little button. I just grab that from the Zenler site and I just remove the background, and that's my assets. So this is all my little assets here waiting for me. And I have different pictures here because I might want to be using different, it's funny. Might want to be using different images for different things. And so you can do that. So this is my little pack. So I have a little pack here of originals, and then I have the resize pack. Do you notice the original image here? It's completely different color from what we have here. It's because I just put a color tint in Photoshop over the top of it. So I have all my assets now, and I can reuse them. So where and how do I reuse them? So if we jump into Canva now, we've got our page, we're ready to market this, we're ready to go and create media, and we do. We use our elements we already have to create these kind of versions. So if I go in here, we have a mobile format version now, and this is from here. So it's got me there, and look, it matches our website. It's me different, but I'm pointing, and effectively I can output this and use it for social media that use this mobile format. So let's move on to the next one here, which is Instagram. So here's an Instagram one. Now this has been done using the standard Instagram movie player here. So if you go to, let me show you guys, just in case you don't know, create design. Okay, you can go down here to Instagram story, and you can click that and it will create that template for you. Okay, so you can also go down social media here. This will give you more options. So you can go in here, Instagram post. This is a static square. Notice the size 1080 by 1080. Then you've got Instagram stories. You know, there's loads of things. WhatsApp status, you've got TikTok videos, and YouTube animated social feeds. So you can just pick those and you can just output those. This would be a PNG file. And if I play this is what happens. 3 seconds on this frame, and then it will move to this frame. And that is my simple thing. But all of the content has been uploaded into here. So all I did was get my little folder, and this is the reusing content. I went to the resize and I just dragged my little pictures across straight into here. So if I wanted to put this half picture of me up, I just drag it in here and bang, it's straight in there. So you can then replace. So if I wanted to replace me in there, I could just change me across, or I could just put me in there anyway, like that, and then have me on the side. You know, you can play around, you can right hand click and you can go layer, and we can go send backwards, and then I'm underneath the button. So you're gonna have real fun with this, playing around with it. So this is how this can kind of work for you. I've set up these templates that I can reuse. And I did the same. You might have noticed the beginning slide that we had, you know, that was using the content that we had already in there. You'll notice the background's the same, and there's that image and there's that button. So there's always thinking behind it. So even though I was telling you like, oh, you know, this is me, this is what I do, I planned to show you the reuse your content stuff. So see how it all works. And this is just a workshop just to show you how this stuff can be done. But this can easily, now I've done all this work, I could launch this and I could sell this because I've got it. I've got some of my social media done for later, and I can reuse that content in there. So what happens there? What happens from there once you've reused that content? So I've reused the content and I've output it. I need some place to be able to monitor what I'm doing. So if we look back here, you're going to see that I've named these. So in this particular one, it's a mobile view. So it's portrait. I would definitely do a landscape version, which I'm going to do in a second. And I've got an Instagram, but notice this number, it says RD0001. I also like to create a little social sheet. So if you look here, I've got a social sheet. So when I'm coming up with social snippets and titles and those sort of things, I put them in here and I fill them out. I also give them the location of the media. So if, for instance, I'm doing this one and I decide that this particular media is for Instagram, I can put Insta here, and then I can start to fill things out because I can come back to my Instagram post and I can use a share link. So I can copy that share link and I can dump the location of that share link into there. And now I have a direct link to where that's going to. So let me just change that data field to wrapping so that it wraps nicely there. So now you can access that. So if I set up a lot of social media posts, and generally I would do this in a day, and I would set up about 30. So once I've got all those 30 done, I would enter them all in here, and then I put a scheduled date in here when I want them scheduled. And then I basically mark them off as I'm going through them. And this is how you can effectively create I should save a lot of time for yourself by doing it all in one hit. One morning a week or something, you could do 10, and you could put them in here, and then you have 10 for the next 10 days that you're going to run out, or you could do 20, or you could do 30. You can produce this stuff really, really quickly. And that's going to bring me on to reusing this content, and I'll show you how to do it here. So make sure that you do have a sheet so you can check things off. We're going to fill this out a little bit more in a second, noticing I've only got half an hour left. I've got to be fairly quick, but I'm going to be using ChatGPT to do that. So yeah, everything's ChatGPT nowadays. So what I'll do is I'll close this down. You get the idea about the titles and descriptions. You can fill that in. Each of one of them will be unique. We will not be using the same social title and description across multiple social feeds. We'll be creating variations of it, and you can do that in ChatGPT really easily. Obviously make it your own as well. So we're going to go and take one of these, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to use this one as a base. You'll like this little trick. It's really cool. I'm going to take this as a base to create a 1920 by 1080 one. So I'm going to come in here. So I've got a mobile version. I've got an Instagram. I'm now going to create a new design. Let's go in here. Let's go down to custom size. Notice I don't pick them from the pre-made templates. I like to use my own. For anything that I'm doing for landscape, I always use that set size 1920 by 1080. If I'm doing anything for mobile, I always use 1080 by 1920. All right, that's just what I do. So here it is here. Right, little hack for you. We do have our elements uploaded to our account inside here, and I could start dragging them all across, but I like to just leave this open, and then I like to do this. So I grab this using the Shift key. You can actually copy multiple elements inside here, and then I press Control C and copy, and I jump back into here and press Control V. Now what will happen is all my assets will drop straight in. I'll then take this little background that I've already uploaded, drop it in here like this, and then I will just resize my content. So look how quickly I'm creating this content now, from what I had to what I've got now. And I can go in there, make myself bigger inside of here. And remember, it should still be sharp, might be a bit big, but I'm pointing at it. Maybe make this button a little bit bigger and put it in there. And I've literally now just created a new slide like that. It's that simple. So of course you can change it around. If I want to say, okay, I don't actually like that one, it's a little bit blurred, I'm going to drop me in there and put me down there. I can do that. I can create variations. So I can do a duplicate of this. Notice I've got 2 slides, and I could say, right, I want to try it with a little bit of black behind it so that this stands out a little bit more. So I'm going to grab a shape object here. I'm going to, at the moment it's orange, don't worry about it. I'm going to drag this to the sides here and down, covering everything. Don't worry, it'll all be clear. And then I'm going to go into black here, just select that tool, click it in black, go into transparency, drop it down a little bit. And now I'm going to right hand click this element, and we're going to go layer, and we're going to go center back, and bang, that will pop through. So now I've pushed that through. Now I can change that color as well. So I can really play with things. I can go, what's it look like in a blue? And I could change the top color. I could go in here and go, what does this look like in this color here? That'll be too bright. So I need to go into something like that. And there you go. You can see how quickly you can change this stuff over and have a completely different look. So that can really help you and speed up. And I'm reusing assets here, guys. You know, it's so quick. It's so easy. And then I can output these. So I can go, okay, let's just go and share those. Let's download this. I'll always download as a JPEG just for these flat images. I've got no transparency, so I always save it as a JPEG. It just reduces the size down more than a PNG file. Click download. That'll download into my downloads folder. That'll pop up down here in a second. It is a zip file because it's multiple elements in here. But when I open this up and I extract it out, which I've got in here, you'll see that I have both of these slides. So I can throw those straight into my reuse folder. I just drag them across. I'm going to close that down. And you'll notice there, do you notice that picture of Liz? Because we're getting some shots done of all this stuff. So there we go. We've got them here. So quickly, I've now got these 1920 per 1080. These will work on a lot of social posts. So reusing content, really powerful, really quick. So I want to bring us on now to something else slightly different, which is about reusing content that you might use all the time and why you should do it. So I'm going to go into a folder now, and I'm just going to show you a little photo shoot. And we're doing this for all team members. So this is a first look for you guys. But we are putting a series of these shots together. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we create a lot of content. So we've got a lot of different photographs here, and we've got a contact sheet of all the different photographs, and we're having one done of each team member so that we can use these in all of the sorry, I didn't make myself laugh. So we can reuse these in content that we're using. So other I've got my wife's in here as well. So there's photographs of her. So she's jumping around, and it was hilarious. And socks. So by reusing this content, well, I can reuse all that. I can just cut myself out and put myself to fit into this media that we're creating. But it is all reusing content. Now, you might have noticed on lots of our channels that we've got that that we use the same image. I had an image of me, and I think I've got it in here somewhere, where it's just the same image that we were using over and over again of me. So we needed to get new images done that sort of reflected different, pointing, thumbs up, all these kind of things, presentation mode, hello, all these sort of things. So that's why we did it, so that we can use those in different media. So if you can get stuff professionally shot, get it done. If you've got a really good camera and you're a really good photographer yourself, then take the photo. But remember that the photo should be really high res, should be crystal, should be really sharp. And then you'll be flying and you can reuse that content across there. So I have done those bits. What do I need to tell you now? I need to tell you, yes. So video. Okay, so I have some video now that I'm going to show you, and this is for a leveling up social media feed. Now, again, we were reusing all the content, so lots of the feeds that you'll see were actually using the same content. So if I go to, I'm going to just find Zenler's Instagram feed, because that will make it all clear then where I'm going with this. All right, that's good. Okay, so I've got the video opening as well, so it'll all make perfect sense. So reusing content. So again, we started launching a series of new designs, and just to make the channel a little bit more exciting than some of the stuff we were doing. And we had this one here, throw all your toys out of the basket, and we have all these. Now, what I want to tell you is with Instagram, it's square, okay? So when you look, even though these are reels, these are videos, these look nice because they're in squares, but they didn't start off in squares, right? They have been carefully designed to work in both the square format for Instagram and the portrait view in Instagram. So it will become clear in a second when I show you the video with what is actually happening. But we reused all the content. So as well as covering reusing content now, I'm trying to tell you to think about what you're doing when you're posting stuff. So many times, if you've just got a image in here, then it's fine. It can crop it top and bottom, but is that image, like, is your head too high in that image? So if Instagram decides to crop it, is it going to crop half your head off? Have you got the logo in there so it's visibly clear on that page if you're using a logo in the page? So you've got to think about all these things when you're doing. Now, our older Instagram posts, these have just been reused because we do have Zen Zone and office hours. These will be replaced, but they're not replaced yet. We're just going to do a few bits of information for them. But you'll notice that even they have been put in the square format because they were landscape. So the only way to get them square was to add some blue top and bottom. This is just the way that you should be thinking when you're creating any media, especially for Instagram, because Instagram squares it off. TikTok does the same. So be careful about that. But we can see everything in there. Now, if I come down, I'm trying to find one where someone's head's been cut off. And I think there is one. I think Alice's head is cut off in one of the videos. But I might have to go down a long way to find that. But it does happen. It does happen. Am I going to find it? No. Oh, that's good. We do post a lot. And I think it was a summit last year. So that could be a long way down. But trust me, her head was cut off. And it was basically because of the square format. So these things happen even with us, we're doing this stuff. But what we did, let's just show you this one. Like you can see Zen pop up, the Zen pop ups. If I click this, watch what happens. Bang, it all expands out from the square, it expands out to the mobile version. So and the reason it expands out is because we know that Instagram holds the video reels in a square. Not if you go to Reels, But if you go on that first page, I don't want to see it cut off. If I go into Reels, look, you're going to see it as it is. But those Reels also display on the post page. So it was really important that things expanded out as you were doing this stuff. So like here, it just goes, this is actually in a square format. But if I go to this one here, there we go. You can see it expands out, so it works with that. Or the goat. This is my favorite. No one really clicks on this, but it's a goat, unicorn goat. Brilliant. So that's how it works. You just need to think about how those things are going to work for you with this. This is quite a good one as well. So you got him there when you make your first sale. And this was Karishma mainly. This was her comment in here. So we made sure we tagged her in this post so that people can find her Instagram page by clicking on here. So if you are using, this is another good thing to tell you. I know when we're talking about reusing content, but we are reusing content. We're using Karishma's content. So we're reusing it for our social post. She's given us permission. She said yes. We tagged her in because that's the right thing to do so people can find her. But we're reusing her content and we're putting it into here to work with our ads. So everything you're seeing is reusing of content, and just thinking creatively with this stuff can really help you. So I want to show you the video file now in here. This is the video file. This was actually shot in one shot. This is how I do things. I stand in front of the green screen and I'll do a series of 8 to 10 videos at a time, and then I'll cut them up and put them all down together. Again, this saves a lot of time. When I output this video, I can then output 8 videos in one. So it takes a long time to render these videos out. So if I've actually outputting from one video file, it means I can go out, means I don't have to charge Zenler that time because the computer's just working. So, and I can work on other things like support docs. So it's all good. So this is how I work with it. And you'll see inside here, if we go back to the beginning of this, you'll notice that I've got a little square in here. You'll see it's locked. If I turn this off and on, now this is my little template guide giving me a square inside of my mobile portrait format. This was positioning. I don't output this. I turn it off when I output, but I just use it to position my assets. So once the assets have been positioned, then I animate it to work. So you can see it goes up and down to work with that. Let me just zoom in a bit here. You can see as this goes up, that fills the frame in there. And it works. Yeah. So that's how that kind of works for that. And I won't save that. And that's reusing content. So what about social feeds? Like I was talking about using Chat GPT. So I'm going to quickly do that now. I'm going to jump into the open page and just show you how I got some of the content for the actual page. So I'm just going to log into my account here for Chat GPT just to give you a quick run through. I know it's been talked about today, but I just wanted to recover how I use it. So I'm going to jump into the page now. I'm just going to do a quick screen share. Jump into here, right? This content here was produced by ChatGPT. I didn't even feel I needed to change it for the sake of this tutorial, but I probably would go in there and make it my own. But effectively what I did was I took this content here, which I wrote. I took this content here, again, which I wrote, and I put that into ChatGPT. So if I come into here, you're going to see inside here, save time, reuse content. And you're going to notice at the top here, I have typed my prompt in here, write me a summary of content specific to these bullet points, make it impactful and for course creators online. So then from that point, I've got saved money and I've just taken those bullets and dumped them in there. And then I've got ChatGPT to write me a whole article. Now I could turn this into a blog post. Now I didn't take all of this stuff. I just took a little bit of it and used it inside here. Are you an online course creator looking? And that's the same. Are you an online course creator looking? And then because I like the end part here, the implementation, notice all these bullet points that I've got inside here is giving me extra information. That's a good framework to work with. what has been mentioned of using ChatGPT is you need to make sure that you are telling the tool, and that's what it is, what to do. You need to be injecting your personality into it. It's very, very important. But the last part of this, I took this by implementing these pointers. You'll be well on your way to saving time and saving money. And if you look, that's exactly what I've put at the end here. And that's enough. That's enough for this page. It saved me spending half an hour writing this out. It also means that I have a treasure trove of extra information in here, and also means that I can create my social media posts. So I'll give you an example. Let's put using the above, create 10. Oh, let me just cross that out. Using the above, create 10 social headings and descriptions for Twitter. Now, obviously, I could do this a lot better. I'm going to also say also include emojis and the hashtag course creator. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do this. So I'm going to hit this and bang, it's going to look at the above content and it's going to go unlock the power of course, reuse, save time, money, with hashtag course creator. It's given me a start. It's given me the ability to put this into my sheet. And I could do that. And it's going to roll out 10 of those. Now I could tell that to do me the same for Instagram. And I could do a mega prompt where I'm actually telling it to say, do one for Instagram, do one for Twitter, do one for Facebook, and it will just go through and it will do those. You could also put a link in there as well, but we need to make sure that we are actually putting links in there. And when we create links, we normally use bit.ly links, so everything's trackable. But it's created those in a fraction of a second, and it's a good starting block. So from this point, I would change this, obviously, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go in and go, right, okay, so now I've got my social title. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to jump back to this, and I'm going to say, I actually like the look of this one here. So I'm going to take this, copy it, and I can go back into here, and I can put this in here. Now, please remember, you will change this slightly, but it's given me 10. So if I want to put this on Twitter, if I wanted to set another one up for Instagram, I can pick. I always tell it to give me 10 because I like to go through them. Never ask it to give you one. You want it to give you 10 of these. So let me just do the alignment up here and just change this a little bit. Okay, so that's how you can do it. So now I have my first post. This is ready for Twitter. I can say yes in there. I can mark this as yes, post date maybe next week. I've got my media, I've got my description, I've got my social title, and I've got my campaign name. And I've done that all from that basic reusing of content. So it can be really quick and really effective. Now, just before I go, because I've got about 10 minutes, I'm going to show you another thing. We're going to create a Zoom background. So let's go crazy with the Zoom background and do it in this style. So I've already got, if I go here, I've already got this that I used. So I'm going to just take this and I'm going to turn this into a social Zoom background. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to bring the Zenler logo in here. So I've got content I'm reusing. Look, guys, content I'm reusing in here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag this into here. That will jump and upload straight into here. There we go. And I might bring this in. Let's just say www.mysite.com. Let's just say that. And let's take this logo. Let's put him in there. Let's bring him down a bit. And let's position him something like that. Looks nice. Okay. Take that and that, pull it up in the corner, bring it down a little bit. All right, let me just grab this, bring it down here. Okay, I'm going to put it about there. I'm going to take these, bring them down, and maybe put it here. I'm doing this quick, but you get the idea. So now I could say, right, that's my Zoom background. Fabulous. Right, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to output this and I'm going to change my Zoom background inside here. So I'm going to go download. I want it as a JPEG. I'm going to not do all the pages. I just want one page, and that will just be a one JPEG. Then I'm going to click done and I'm going to click download. Okay, now that's downloaded, I'm going to change my Zoom background to this. So let me just show this in folder, drag this across to my, whoa. Where's it gone? I'll drag that onto my desktop for now. And let's go and change my Zoom settings. So you're going to see the Zoom thing come up in a second. I think I can show you the settings. Maybe not. If I screen share, I can't. Okay, I'll just have to change it over. So I'm going to do my share, stop my share. I'm going to go into the settings. Let's see if I can share it from here. Oh, I can. Good. Excellent. Right, there we are there. So I'm going to go into my video background here and I'm going to upload the file. Let me just add an image. 2 seconds, guys. Right, okay, here we go. Let's go to my desktop. There it is. I'm going to click open and there we go. So I've changed my background. So, and there we go. So how quick was that? Reusing content. It's so powerful. And you can see how quick. So we covered quite a lot there. We covered like how to, it's a really good idea to use Zenler just to do page design and play around with different designs. How you should have oversized content and reduce it down. So you can reduce stuff down using Canva, by the way. You could just set Canva to a size of 500 high, and then you could then just take a high res image, drop it in there and reduce the size down, because inside Canva it does that anyway. And then you can output that straight out there. Or there's online sources like Resize Your Image or something. You can go in, you can upload your image and resize it to the size you want. Or of course you can use editing programs like I do. I use Photoshop to do all my images. So I just go in there, cut backgrounds out and put it in. Canva's really good for doing stuff like this. You can just throw it in there really quick, and it's a template. So I can duplicate that slide for other Zoom backgrounds if I wanted to, which again makes it quite powerful. If I just quickly show you, I've got about 7 minutes to go. If I quickly show you here that I could create another Zoom background with this background elements here, I could take this, I could delete these out like this. I love this about Canva. If I take these elements like this and I copy it, and then I come down to this slide and I press Control V, it will go in the same area. So now I've created 2 Zoom background slides instantly. And I could create another one. I could duplicate this out, and this time I could say, right, okay, well, actually, do you know what? I'm going to try a completely different image. So I'm going to go into photos here and maybe let's just choose something like space and see if we've got any free ones in here. Oh, that's a nice one. Put that in there. There we go. Created a lovely image. Of course, I could drop myself in there as well. So if I want to, I could do something like that straight in there, or I could even put me behind the Zenler logo. How cool would that be? So if I put the Zenler logo, if I move it down, this is what I mean. It's all about having fun. And then I right hand click and I go layer, bring to front. And I just put it so it's like that. It looks like I'm popping out the top of the image. So I love it. You can play around with this stuff and have real fun with it, but you're creating content and you're reusing content at the same time. So that is it from me. I think that's enough. I'm going to see if there's any people have asked any questions in the chat. Have they asked any questions, Liz? Nobody.
Muted. I haven't seen any, but with the previous one, for me, no question showed, and on memories they did. So it could be my computer. Did you see any, Mummy, in there?
I'll just quickly check once again.
I think I have a delay with the chat. I can see the video is running in time, but my chat on Facebook, it's not there today.
Facebook technical. I'm sure there'll be questions. If you want to tag me in, I mean, if it's branding related, you can tag Renee in, of course. If it's anything to do with this reusing content, I think we covered quite a lot there in an hour. So there was a lot of stuff going on there. But I think the main point here is to understand that reusing content saves you a ton of time. Absolute ton. I mean, look how we've reused the content at David Zenler. Everybody's got the same backdrops there. You know, we've used that, but we could have that in Canva and everyone could have a different color backdrop. So and we keep the brand consistent by all team members wearing our kind of uniform, which does change, you know, just like a brand, we might change and have different outfits at some stage. Who knows? So yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Anyway, it was nice to come back and be live. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and bringing some of your David Zenler back into David Zenler.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
Thank you so much, David.
Oh, amazing. What an awesome David Zenler we've had again. Always full of fun surprises.
Absolutely. I did check for questions. There are no questions as of this moment, but we do have users saying that enjoyed it, great stuff, and especially Francis mentioning the last session that we had.
Amazing, amazing. Oh, and that perfect a time as well, as if by magic.
Yes, everything aligning in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been so awesome. So thank you so much to everyone that has joined us live. Thank you to all of our amazing speakers today. And thank you if you're watching us on the replay. Again, do tag the speakers below because they will be happy to come in and answer your questions.
Thank you so much, everyone, whoever was watching us live and the ones who are going to watch on replay. And like Liz said, make sure to mention the speakers, ask your questions, even if you're watching on replay, because I'm sure each speaker would want to come out and help you and answer your questions.
Absolutely. And I'll just say for a final time, if you want to be featured on A Day with Zenler, then please do reach out either to Mummy or myself, and we will sort things out so that you too can be featured and support our amazing Facebook group full of fabulous Zenler users. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again in A Day with Zenler next month.
Yes, thank you so much, Liz. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.